Welcome in, beautiful people. I'm Miss Kimmy, and today we are diving into something that every single person walking this earth needs in their emotional toolbox: resilience. It's not just about bouncing back from hard times, it's about rising up stronger, wiser, and more centered every time life tries to knock you down. So let's unpack what it really means to develop emotional toughness and spiritual grounding in a world that constantly tests us. So let's talk about the definition of resilience before we start to cover different aspects of how it can benefit us and mold us into the person that we were created to be. Resilience is the ability to adapt, recover, and grow in the face of stress, adversity, trauma, or significant challenges. It involves maintaining or quickly regaining emotional balance, mental clarity, and functional capability after setbacks or difficulties. Let's take a gander at someone else's definition and perspective on being resilient.
Many of us say we are resilient. Just because you went through that thing and you're still here, that is not a true definition of being resilient. Resilient is, I went through that thing and I came out on the other side better. That's the difference. When you say, oh, I made it out, and you still sharing the same story what you shared 10 years ago when you went through and you're still going through, that's not resiliency. That's not resilience. That's a pattern.
So let's unpack that for a second. She said that you come out on the other side better. You don't stay stuck in that place. That is not the definition of resilience. Resilience is that you come out different, better, more evolved, and have more efficiency than you did prior to going into that situation. And this next story of Asha Phillip is such an inspiration and what a great example to describe the definition and enveloping the meaning, the full meaning of resilience.
Some people say you have to be broken to be fixed again. My name is Asha Phillip, and I run. Athletics for me was just a bit of fun. It was something different and it was something new. Trampolining was my main sport and I loved it. And then I fell into double mini trampolining and then I became a world junior champion that year. I was at the World Championships in Quebec. I bounced up, but when I came down, I didn't land right. I could just hear the crunch. I could just see my leg pointing in a different direction. And I just remember grabbing my leg and then just screaming and screaming. There was nothing holding my legs together. In a heartbeat, everything was just gone. Everything I worked hard for had vanished. Everyone told me I was a write-off. So how does a child at age of 17 get back up? It felt like I'd lost something. I'd lost a part of me. I wanted to give up. And when you're at the point of just giving up, that's when you're meant to really turn your life around and change. It was my mum who believed in me. And for that, I believed in her. I really do question how I made it out. It was little by little, coming in to do the rehab. Step by step, you started to see improvement. The crutches went away, then I could walk. I was able to jog and then run. But then I had loads of injuries along the way. The only thing standing between success and failure is mental toughness.
The only thing standing between success and failure is mental toughness. The mindset, the perspective. It's about the ability to recover from setbacks, to adapt to what she said, change, and to keep going when things are uncertain. Her whole life was flipped upside down. Imagine competing with the best of the best in the world. And then you have a life-changing injury that you don't know if you will be able to bounce back from, much less be able to get back to that level of competition and be able to compete effectively. with a chance of winning. You don't have to be born with resilience, it can be developed. But again, like she said, it takes mental toughness.
It's about being resilient. Being an athlete isn't like a normal job. The gym, strengthening, the mind work, the fitness for one shot for 11 seconds. There are a lot of knockbacks, a lot. It's how you handle it. But it's also the most amazing release. I let out all my stresses, all my bad energy. Every time I show up to train, I have the opportunity to learn more about myself and how to run correctly. Some people train brilliantly, but in a race, they don't win. You need focus. You're in an arena of thousands of people, then you're on the start line with 7 other women, and you have a man holding a gun, and you have to learn to channel all this, not panic. But there's so much going on with your family in the crowd, everyone's screaming, wanting you to do well, they're screaming for the girls inside you. How do you put that all aside and say, okay, I have to focus on myself, focus on my lane, focus on me? There are sacrifices. There are lots of ways to have fun. Go after your goals and balance it out the right way. In the end, it's about knowing what's important to you and what makes you thrive. That's not just athletics. That's life.
That is life. Let's keep it all the way funky. Resilience doesn't always look pretty. In her situation, it really looked dismal, and I can only imagine what she endured in real life. Sometimes it looks like crying in your car and then fixing your makeup before you walk into work. It looks like having nothing but choosing not to give up. That's key. You have to keep going, no matter what it looks like. It's the silent fight. It's the moment where no one claps for you, but you keep going anyway. The truth is, the people who appear the strongest often endure the most. Resilience takes a mental fortitude and a level of application and willingness and passion that everybody can't dig down deep enough to accrue. Resilient people know themselves. They're not afraid to ask, why am I feeling this way? Or what is this moment trying to teach me? You can't always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Resilience is the pause between reaction and reflection. Support systems are very, very important in resilience. As Asha stated, she leaned on her mother. Her mother was her support system. She said her mother believed in her, therefore she believed in her mother. We were not meant to carry everything alone, whether it's our faith, our family, our friends, our therapists. Leaning on others is not weakness, contrary to what we've probably been told. It's wisdom. When we ask, what am I learning from this? How does this align with my bigger purpose? It activates that faith muscle. You have to believe in yourself. Nobody can give that to you. Resilience often comes down to one simple truth, that you believe that better is possible. Even when everything else says otherwise, that little still voice in you says, keep going. There are times when I am going through something, I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't have the energy to do mundane, everyday tasks. It takes a mental assertiveness and a digging deep down inside of me to get past what I feel like and what it looks like on the surface and keep going. I get up, I do it anyway. Now, once it's all done, I feel accomplished. I feel productive. I feel a little bit stronger. It's not an easy task. It is not something that is simple. It is very complicated. And it takes, again, a mental muscle that everybody just don't possess. Now let's touch on the spiritual side of this thing. Many people think resilience is only about gift and toughness, but spiritually, resilience is deeply tied to surrender and alignment. Sometimes resilience is saying, God, I don't know what you're doing, but I trust you anyhow. It's praying through the pressure. It's choosing faith when fear is louder. And let me tell you, there is power in being still and knowing that your breakthrough is still loading. We are living in a culture where being still and quiet is almost an impossible task unless you're intentional about it, because we are living in a time and an age where there's nothing but noise everywhere. There's nothing but potential distractions everywhere. You have cell phones that contain a whole world in itself in your hand that you can carry from one location to the other and not miss a beat. Okay? So we have to be mindful. We have to be intentional about digging into that spiritual realm, in that spiritual space, and tying in the ability to be resilient with a power and a source that is higher and bigger than ourselves. This is very, very, very critical in my life. Okay? In my life. Let's touch on being incarcerated and how resilience actually ties in to being incarcerated. So it can be one of the most mentally and emotionally challenging as well as draining experiences a person can face. However, it is possible to not lose hope. That's a key word, hope, and to exercise resilience, even behind bars. Let's tap into this man's story on how he was able to come out sane after being incarcerated and how he integrated hope in order to exercise resilience.
The things I learned about resilience through my time in prison is that human beings, I believe by nature, are very resilient. I had some significant obstacles to overcome, including, long-term solitary confinement, which they estimate is designed to drive a person crazy after 90 days. And what I found in that environment is that hope is probably the cornerstone of resilience. As long as you have hope, you can come out on the other side of anything. If I focus on the purpose instead of the pain, then I can get through to the other side. And that's how I live my life. And to me, those things embody what resilience really is.
Focusing on the mental toughness and the purpose instead of the pain is a lot easier said than done. When you are incarcerated, the ability to withstand emotional trauma, maintain some type of mental clarity, find purpose despite being confined, isolated, and having limitations. It's not about ignoring the pain, but focusing on the purpose and learning to grow through the pain and not just go through it. You have to have hope. That is the key word he said. It will open up the gateway for you to be able to exercise other tools in order to get the end result of being resilient. I'm sure he probably set some goals, had some spiritual practices, whether it's prayer, meditation, reconnecting with the higher power. Those things absolutely help build inner strength when external freedoms are lost. So you can be resilient in any aspect going through any experience depending on your mental fortitude, being positive, building a positive routine, having mental tools that build resilience, whether you have self conversations with yourself, you talk to yourself. Be careful and mindful of the language that you use, of the specific wording that you use, since words have power. Replace things like "I'm stuck" with "I'm being still so I can grow." Visualize that freedom. And this is not just being incarcerated. You can do this in any setting, in any point in your life. See yourself healed, restored, and productive. And keep learning. Feed your mind. The body may be confined. Even if you don't have your health and you're not incarcerated, you can feel imprisoned and incarcerated because you don't have the ability to move and to navigate like and experience the freedom that others can. But the mind can travel. It's all about perspective. It is all about perspective. Staying connected, keeping yourself open to those that are in your tribe, those that you can trust, because you still matter. You can also be a mentor to others instead of you seeking a mentor for yourself, or you can do both. Your pain can birth someone else's progress. Hope grows when the future has shape. We, not just being incarcerated, but all of us seeking resilience, can refuse to be mentally imprisoned. One of my personal challenges has to be to take breaks, to realize that I don't have to be strong 24/7. I got to leave something for God to do. If I take it and put it upon myself to do all of the work, then how can God demonstrate that He is God through me to demonstrate that He is real to others? It's okay for us to also set boundaries to protect our energy, because resilience really takes a lot of energy, whether we like it, whether we want to admit it or not. So you have to allocate your attention and, again, your mental fortitude in an area and to a capacity to where there aren't any other factors to drain that energy, so you don't have the strength to be resilient. The young lady that broke her leg, Asha Phillip, she made that statement, and that was very important to her, is that she had to stay focused. That takes a lot of self-discipline. It takes a lot of sacrifice. It takes being intentional. And I just want to close with this before we wrap up. Speak kindly to ourselves. You and I are the only ones that you and I have in this world. There's only one you, there's only one me. This isn't a race. Healing and strength takes time. Be patient. Be intentional. Be disciplined. And whatever you do, surround yourself with things that help you to maintain your hope. So what did we learn today, y'all? I just want to say this. Resilience is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's the strength that keeps showing up, even when the odds are against you. You might bend, but you won't break. If you felt seen, heard, or inspired during this video, please share this with somebody else who might need it too. Leave a comment about your own journey with resilience, or a moment where you chose strength over surrender in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. I appreciate you. And until next time, remember, pressure makes diamonds, and you, my friend, are shining.